Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Kamia Simon, and let's continue. Have you ever heard of a model view controller? Well, let's look at it this way. I have done a search here, and I didn't want to create a diagram. So we have a user, okay? A user views. They have a view they look at. So when they want to get something, they send a request through the view to the controller that I want to get something. The controller will go to the model, and the model will be a set of data structure arranged. So if the controller has the functions to request for something, they'll go through the model, and then the model picks from the database and then responds back to the controller on that particular request, and then the request will send data to the view. That's what they call the model view controller. So there is another diagram here that the viewer, okay, requests the controller. The viewer uses the action. The controller updates the model. The model will then communicate with the database, updates the controller, and the controller will update the view on the particular changes. So you can read about the model view controller. I'll go back to all and we see what it actually is. So model view controller, usually known as MVC, is a software design pattern commonly used for developing user interfaces that divides the related program logic into 3 interconnected elements. Now, one of the best things of the model view controller, you can use the controller to limit the viewer from what they can see or even access, okay? But yet they can be even accessing the same page, okay? But the controller is limiting the viewer on what they can see according to the way they request to see that. And even the controller limits the viewer on what they can see based on their role. All right, so let's go to Laravel, and we're going to create controllers. We're going to create controllers and models. And like I said, I'll be doing it from the admin side, then I watch it from. So I'm going to go to my www folders, and then, okay, I have my elements running already here. So I have my server running, and then I have my PHP here. All right, as usual, we shall go to the documentation, and then we check how it works. So we're going to look for, so under controllers in the Laravel documentation, there is much you can know about controllers. Okay, we have different kind of controllers. I'm looking for resource controllers. I may not create a resource as such. I'll just create an empty controller. But one of the good things with making a resource controller, it will give you both the resource and the model. One thing I discovered in the previous versions, it would attach the resource to the model, yet at times, especially when you're designing the admin side, you may not need such an attachment because you may need several methods that are not resource based. Okay, so this is how you collect items from the resource, the gets and posts. We shall look at that. But what I wanted is here. Okay, so we're going to run this PHP artisan make controller, and then which controller you want to make. Now the controller can be as what is already in the database. Now also you begin with the model name, okay, and then the controller. So we're going to first make the model, okay. So we're going to come to our command PHP artisan make model, and what will be our model? I want to look at our database design. So our first model is going to be the user. Okay, let me do a double check if the user model does not exist already. So to get the models, you just come to app. So we already have the user model here. Okay, so I may not need to recreate that model. Okay, so let me do a control plus to scroll. So we already have a user model. We shall just need to add more data to this variable, to this array. So we're going to create other models. For example, we're going to create the playlist model. Okay, and models are very good when you're creating what they call relationships or eloquent calls. So PHP artisan make model, playlist model, playlist model. So the model is supposed to begin with a capital letter, camel casing, playlist. I'll press enter. The model has been created successfully. Let's check. You can see we have a model called playlist. There it is. Now we're going to create a controller, but not everything needs to have a controller. Okay, not everything needs to have a controller. So let me create the controller right now. So not every model needs to have a controller, because you can use a control of a different model to control another model. You can see you can have one controller controlling different models, or you can even have several controllers independent that are working with one model or even the others. So we're going to do PHP artisan make controller. This necessarily doesn't need to be caps lock. Make controller, and then play. You can see I'm starting with capital P, playlist, and then capital C, controller. Now, some people add the word resource, but I won't add that. I want my controllers empty from scratch. All right, so we're going to go again and see. So when we come to our HTTP, we have the playlist controller. Here it is, and it's empty. Now, I talked about the admin side. So what does it mean? I'm going to create a controller for the admin side, but I don't need to have a model. So I'm going to call my controller something. I may not call it admin. Maybe I'm calling it principal. All right, so let me go ahead and create PHP artisan. PHP artisan make controller principal controller. Okay, so it's going to make a controller for me. Like I said, the different controllers can even control one, or one controller can control several models. Just in case you route the request through it, it will do exactly what you've asked in your request. So I already have the principal controller. All right, so we shall go ahead to look at what we downloaded, or even create our own Bootstrap model. Now, since we have our view for the design, that depends on you. But remember, the only thing you need here is Bootstrap. So you can go ahead and download some of the items we saw. Which dashboard do you prefer? So let's see a live preview for this dashboard. Some of these are free. Some of these are free, some you may not need. For example, we are not yet to the level of having such graphics. I just need a simple database. So I'll go to Bootsnip. I'll go and type Bootsnip. Bootsnip to get Bootstrap templates. Now this could be a good one for me. Okay, I downloaded it yesterday. And I'm only interested on this other side. Okay, so you can take your time, design the accordion, and that will depend on you. Okay, let me look for one at Bootsnip, and I'll pause the video until I get to it. You can go to Google and then you look for Bootstrap Snippets, and then there is this bootsnip.com. That is one. We're also going to get from Bootstrap itself. That means I'm talking about getbootstrap.com. Getbootstrap.com. Because we're going to be using it over and over again. So this is Bootsnip. These are the different snippets. So I typed in dashboard, and here it is. Now there is also this. This is also an admin dashboard. It depends on your preference. Now there is this one. There's also this. You choose any. There is also this. There are many. And the good thing here with the Bootsnip, you right click and then you choose what you want. So I think I may go with this one. This one is also not bad. So let me right click. So it will bring you both the view, the preview, okay, and then the HTML. So you can copy the whole HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. So I'm not minding so much about the JavaScript. Let me see. I'm not so much into the JavaScript. Rather, I'm into does it work? Okay, the left and right. Okay, so here's another. I may not need this so much. So you just download some of these things. These items can change. Some of these can change. You just download. And as you learn Bootstrap, you'll find that some of these you may not need. All right, so we're going to take on this. The first thing I'll do is copy the HTML. So I'll copy all HTML here. And then I'm going to go to my Laravel. In my folders, I look for resources, views. So I'll create a folder inside here. So one of the downsides, maybe you just don't know how to do it, but with Notepad++, you can't create, a folder here. You just need to go using the layman's style. Then you go to you browse to your www folder, project folder, and then you have to look for resources, then views, then you create a folder. So I'm going to create a folder here, and I'm going to call it principal. Okay, now inside principal, all, I'm going to go and create a new. So I'm going to select. So I'm going to create new. Okay, then I paste that code for principal. Then I do file, save as, or save. Then I'll be prompted to browse where I'm saving. So it's still looking at controllers, yet I would have created it in the panel already. So I'm going to browse back to resources. Resources, views, then principal, and then I put dashboard. Dashboard, this is so important, dashboard, because we're going to have other different folders in that view, in that principal view. Dashboard dot blade dot php, and then save. Okay, so we're going to route to our dashboard. Now I'm going to go to the routers. So you go to routes, then web routes, okay, and then we're going to route hours, which we're going to call route get. We're going to get ours is going to be simple. So route get dashboard, and where are we getting dashboard from? We are getting it at our principal controller. It's supposed to be capital P, principal controller, and that's it. All right, so we're going to go to principal controller and we create a basic route. So principal controller, and we create a basic function. So our function is going to be public function, and then dashboard, that will be it. Then we're going to return that dashboard. So we're going to return view, okay, and then what are we returning in the view? We're returning to that view, which is dashboard. So dashboard is within. So if I scroll, here is principal. Dashboard is within principal. So we're going to return to principal, okay, stroke dashboard, and then I terminate. All right, so we can now go to our browser, and then we do localhost 8000 or the other index that was given to you. Which is 1, 2 something of the sort. So if we have an error, the good thing with Laravel, it's going to indicate to us here that we have an error. Having an error, and I think I forgot something. Okay, let's check our controller and we see. Okay, dashboard. Okay, our method is dashboard. Let me see. All right, so here it's supposed to be a principal controller at which method? Dashboard. Okay, let's save all, go back again and route, and we see All right, so it is working well. So what I'm going to do, remember the other one is the dashboard or our principal. So I'm going to stroke with dashboard, and then I press enter. Okay, not found. Let's see what is the right word I'm supposed to use. Dashboard. All right, I'm missing an R. Very important. All right, so to return whatever we've found to the view, we have to type return, and then we choose that we want to return to the view. And then what is the view? So our view is within the principal folder that is already in views, and then dot the dashboard. So dot dashboard. So we shall see, I'm going to be creating other folders within the principal folder. We shall see how to handle that. So dot dashboard, and then we terminate. So I can save all, and let's see what we do now.